Mile marker 127 said, Bisbee, 63 miles. But the woman sitting in the gravel didn't look like she was going anywhere. Cole Brennan was 17 miles from home when he saw her. Just a shape at first, off the shoulder of County Road 181. Could have been a coyote, a torn tire, trash blown from someone's truck bed. But something about the way the evening light hit it made him slow down. Not a coyote, a person. He eased his boot off the gas. The Ford's engine ticked in the heat. She sat with her back against the mile marker, knees pulled up, head down, white sundress, dark hair falling forward, and blood. Not a lot, but enough, pooling in the dust beside her like something spilled and forgotten. His hands started shaking on the wheel. Not again. He tightened his grip. The shaking got worse. Can't do this again. He rolled past her. 20 feet, 30, pulled onto the shoulder and stopped. Stared at the rearview mirror. She hadn't moved. Didn't even look up at the sound of his truck. The sun was dropping fast now, turning the desert the color of rust and ash. Out here, once it got dark, you had two choices. Be somewhere or be nowhere. She looked like she'd already chosen. Cole sat there for what felt like 10 minutes. Probably 30 seconds. Then he opened the door. His boots hit the gravel with a sound like something breaking. She didn't look up when his shadow fell across her. Just said, "You keep driving, cowboy." Cole walked slow the way you approach a spooked horse. Gravel crunched under his boots. The woman still hadn't moved. 10 feet away, he stopped. "Ma'am?" Nothing. He tried again. "You hurt?" Her head came up then. Dark eyes, flat and distant. A split lip healing crooked. Bruise along her jaw going yellow at the edges. I said, "Keep driving." Her voice was rough, cigarette worn. Tucson accent underneath. Working class border town blend. "Can't do that," she laughed. No humor in it. "Sure you can." Everyone else did. Cole looked past her at the empty highway. No other vehicles. No houses for miles. Just mesquite and creosote and heat shimmering off asphalt like a living thing. "How long you been out here?" "Does it matter?" "Kinda, yeah." She studied him, trying to figure his angle. Her right arm was wrapped tight against her ribs, broken or bruised bad. He could see cigarette burns on her left forearm, small and deliberate, old ones and new ones. "You a cop?" "Rancher." "Same thing out here." "Not even close." She shifted, winced, tried to cover it. "Look, I appreciate the Good Samaritan thing, but I'm fine." "You're not fine." "I'm fine." Cole crouched down, not too close, eye level now. Her dress was torn at the shoulder. More bruises underneath. "Who did this?" Her jaw set. "None of your business." "Fair enough." He stood, dusted his hands on his jeans. "I got water in the truck. First aid kit. Can take you to town. Hospital, sheriff's office. Your call." "I don't want anything." "Okay." He turned to walk back. Made it 3 steps. "Wait." He stopped, didn't turn around. Long silence. Somewhere in the distance, a windmill creaked, slow, rhythmic, lonely. "Where's town?" "Cochise Flats. 32 miles. "And you're just offering?" "Yeah." "Why?" Cole looked at the desert. The sun was almost gone now. In 20 minutes, it'd be full dark, and the temperature would drop 40 degrees. "Because you'll die out here if you don't move." Another long silence. The windmill kept turning. "Fine." And she tried to stand, got halfway up and her legs gave out. Cole caught her before she hit the ground. She flinched hard, violent, instinctive, and shoved away from him. "Don't," her voice cracked. "Don't touch me." He stepped back, hands up. "Sorry." She was breathing hard now, pressed against the mile marker, eyes wet but not crying. Wouldn't let herself. "I can't." She looked at her own legs like they'd betrayed her. "I can't stand up." Heat exhaustion probably, dehydration. He kept his voice level, practical. "Truck's right there. 20 feet. You think you can make it if I don't touch you?" She nodded. It took her 5 minutes to walk 20 feet. Cole stayed 3 steps behind, not helping. Just there. She'd take 2 steps, stop, breathe, take 2 more. At the truck, she leaned against the passenger door like it was the only thing holding her up. He opened it for her. She climbed in, slow, careful, every movement costing her. Cole walked around to the driver's side, got in, started the engine. Cold air from the vents, not cold enough yet. He pulled a water bottle from behind the seat, handed it to her. She took it. Didn't drink it first, just held it. "Name's Cole." Long pause, like she was deciding whether to tell him or lie. "Maya." He nodded, put the truck in gear. Pulled back onto 181, heading north toward town. They drove in silence. 10 miles, 15. The water bottle was half empty now. She'd rolled the window down an inch, breathing the cooler air like it was medicine. Cole kept his eyes on the road. His hands were still shaking. He gripped the wheel tighter, trying to make it stop. It didn't. Maya was watching him now. He felt it more than saw it. "You always shake like that?" "Sometimes." "Why?" He didn't answer. She leaned her head against the window. The movement was slow, exhausted. "You're not taking me to the hospital." It wasn't a question. "No." "Or the sheriff." "No." "Then where?" Cole passed the turnoff for Cochise Flats. The lights of town disappeared in the rearview mirror. Somewhere safe. She watched the dark rushing past her window. Mesquite and fence posts and nothing. There's no such thing. Maybe. 20 miles later, she was asleep. Or unconscious. Hard to tell. Her breathing was steady, though. That was something. Cole took the ranch road, the washboard dirt that hadn't been graded in 3 years. The truck rattled over ruts. Maya didn't wake up. His hands were still shaking when he pulled into the yard and cut the engine. The porch light was on. Timer, set 5 years ago and never changed. He sat there in the dark cab, listening to her breathe, staring at his own hands on the wheel. "What the hell are you doing?" He didn't have an answer. After a while, he got out, walked around to her side, opened the door carefully, quietly. "Maya." She startled awake, defensive, hands coming up. "Easy, we're here." She looked around, the dark yard, the house, the barn in shadow. "Where's here?" "My place." Something shifted in her face. Fear, maybe, or just exhaustion so deep it looked the same. "You said somewhere safe?" "I did." She stared at him, trying to read whether that was true. Finally, she climbed out, stood on shaking legs, one hand on the truck for balance. Cole walked toward the house. Didn't look back. Didn't make her follow. Just left the door open and turned on the lights inside. After a minute, he heard her footsteps behind him. Slow, careful, following anyway. The ranch house looked like it hadn't seen a woman in years, which Cole figured was about right. Inside, the lights made everything worse. Maya could see it all now. The place someone lived but didn't really live in. Clean enough, empty enough. Furniture that hadn't moved in a decade. Dishes for one in the drying rack. A TV that probably got 2 channels out here. And dust everywhere. The kind that comes from not opening windows, not letting anything new in. Cole stood in the doorway, uncomfortable in his own house. Guest rooms down the hall, second door. Maya didn't move. She was looking at the kitchen table. 2 chairs, one pulled out, one pushed in. Like someone had been waiting for company that never came. Bathroom? Next to the guest room. She walked slow, one hand trailing along the wall for balance. Everything hurt now. Adrenaline wearing off, body catching up with what it had been through. The guest room door was open. She stopped in the doorway. Small, clean, a bed with a faded quilt, a dresser with one drawer slightly open, window with thin curtains, and on the inside of the door, a lock. She turned around. Cole was standing 20 feet back, giving her space. "This lock work?" "Yeah." "From the inside?" "Yeah." Something in her face changed. Not trust, not yet. But maybe the first molecule of possibility that this wasn't another trap. She stepped inside, looked around. The room was plain, impersonal, like a motel, but sadder. Whoever had slept here last, nobody had loved it. "There's clothes in the dresser," Cole said. "My wife's. Might fit." Maya's hand froze on the doorframe. "Your wife. She passed 5 years ago." The silence was heavy. Maya didn't know what to say to that, so she said nothing. Cole shifted his weight. "Bathroom's got towels, hot water works, sometimes takes a minute." "Okay." Another silence. He looked like he wanted to say something else. Couldn't find it. "I'll leave you alone." He turned to go. "Cole?" He stopped. "Why'd you bring me here, instead of town?" He was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. "Because the hospital asks questions. Sheriff asks more. And you look like someone who's had enough questions for a while." He walked away before she could respond. Maya stood there, listening to his boots on the hardwood, a door closing somewhere. The house settling into silence. She looked at the lock again, reached out, turned it. The click was small. The relief was enormous. She didn't come out for hours. Cole made dinner anyway. Scrambled eggs, toast, coffee. Set 2 plates on the counter. Ate his standing up, looking out the window at nothing. The second plate sat there getting cold. At 9 p.m., he covered it with foil, put it in the fridge. At 10 p.m., he checked the hallway. Her door was still closed, no light underneath. At 11 p.m., he gave up and went to bed. Not the bedroom, the couch. He'd been sleeping on the couch for 5 years. The bedroom still smelled like Sarah's lotion, even though that was impossible. Morning came the way it always did, sudden and unforgiving. Cole woke at 5:30, habit. The sun wouldn't be up for another hour, but the work didn't care. He made coffee, 1 cup, stared at it, made another, set it on the counter, next to the first, stood there looking at 2 cups like they were evidence of something he hadn't meant to confess. He heard the door open behind him, turned around. Maya stood in the hallway, wearing one of Sarah's old shirts, a faded blue work shirt 3 sizes too big, and jeans that almost fit. Her hair was wet, face scrubbed clean, the bruises looked worse in the morning light. She stared at the 2 coffee cups. He stared at her, staring. You always make 2? No. Then why? Don't know. She walked over slow, picked up the second cup, held it with both hands like it was precious or dangerous or both. Thanks, he nodded. They stood there in the kitchen, 6 feet apart, drinking coffee in silence. Outside, the windmill creaked, slow, rhythmic, the sound of something still turning despite everything. Maya looked around the kitchen. Her eyes landed on something by the back door. 2 leather work gloves, women's size, hanging on a nail. Those yours? Cole followed her gaze. His jaw tightened. My wife's. Maya looked at them for a long time, then back at him. She must have been tough. Yeah. His voice was rough. She was. Another silence, but different this time. Softer around the edges. Maya set her cup down. I should go. Where? I don't know, somewhere. You got money? She didn't answer. ID? Nothing. Place to stay? She looked at him sharp. I'll figure it out. I'm sure you will. He refilled his cup. But you don't got to figure it out today. And she didn't leave. By noon, she was sitting on the porch, watching him work the corral. He was fixing a gate hinge, the kind of small task that had been waiting for months, because it didn't matter. When you lived alone, she lit a cigarette, didn't smoke it, just held it between her fingers, watching the ember burn down. After a while, she called out, You need help? He looked up. You know anything about gates? No. Then no. She almost smiled. Almost. An hour later, she was in the kitchen. He came in for water, found her washing the breakfast dishes. The ones from that morning and the plate from last night that he'd put in the fridge. You don't have to do that. I know. Then why are you? She kept scrubbing. Because I'm here, and you fed me, and I don't like owing people. You don't owe me anything. She turned off the water, looked at him straight. Yeah, I do. He didn't argue. That evening they sat on the porch again. Separate chairs, 6 feet apart. The sun was setting, painting the desert in shades of rust and gold. Cole had a beer, Maya had water. Neither spoke for a long time. Finally, how long you been out here? Born here. You ever leave? Once. He took a drink. Came back. But why? He looked at the land, the dry scrub, the distant mountains, the sky so big it made you feel small and held at the same time. This is home. Maya stared at the horizon, the endless nothing. Must be nice, having one of those. The windmill creaked, softer now, almost companionable. Then headlights on the road, a white SUV moving slow, county sheriff logo on the side. Maya's whole body went rigid. The truck slowed at the ranch entrance, stopped, sat there for 30 seconds. Cole didn't move, just watched. Finally, the sheriff's truck drove on, taillights disappearing into the dusk. Maya exhaled. She'd been holding her breath. He coming back? Maybe. You gonna tell him I'm here? Cole finished his beer, set the bottle down careful. No. She looked at him, really looked, trying to understand why. Why not? Because it's not his business. What if he makes it his business? Then we'll deal with it. The word hung there. We. Maya looked away. Something was happening in her chest, tight and unfamiliar, like a wall starting to crack. She stood up quick. I'm tired. Gonna turn in. Okay. She walked to the door, stopped, didn't turn around. Cole. Yeah. Thanks for the coffee and everything. He nodded, even though she couldn't see it. Sleep good. She went inside. Cole sat on the porch until the stars came out. All of them, more than anyone could count. Inside, Maya didn't lock her door. By the third morning, she'd stopped locking her door, which was either trust or exhaustion. Cole couldn't tell. The routine found them without either one planning it. 5:30 a.m. Cole made coffee. 2 cups now. No hesitation. 6 a.m. Maya emerged, hair still wet from the shower. Sarah's clothes fitting better, or maybe she was just wearing them with less guilt. 6:15 a.m. Porch. Separate chairs, silence that didn't feel heavy anymore. 7 a.m. Work began. Him in the corral or on fence line. Her finding small tasks, feeding the chickens he kept forgetting about, folding the laundry that had been sitting in the basket for 3 days. Neither asked, neither explained. They just moved around each other like choreography they'd learned in another life. On day 3, Maya noticed the south fence line sagging bad. Posts rotted through, wire hanging loose. That gonna hold? Cole looked where she was pointing. Probably not. You gonna fix it? Eventually. On when's eventually? He almost smiled. When it falls down, I guess. She shook her head. That's a stupid system. It's worked so far. Has it? He looked at her. She was standing there in his dead wife's jeans and a flannel shirt with the sleeves rolled up, telling him how to run his ranch. 3 days ago, she wouldn't make eye contact. Now she was giving him grief. All right, he said. Today. We'll fix it today. We? You offered. I asked a question. Same thing. She tried not to smile. Failed. Fine, but I don't know anything about fences. Good. I need someone to hand me things and tell me I'm doing it wrong. This time she did smile. Small, but real. The fence line was a mile from the house. They drove out in the truck, tools rattling in the bed, dust rising behind them like a wake. Maya rode with the window down, wind pulling at her hair. She looked different in the daylight. Less hunted, more here. At the fence, Cole unloaded the tools. Post hole digger, wire cutters, new posts he'd bought 2 years ago and never used. You need gloves, he said. I'm fine. Wire'll tear your hands up. I said I'm fine. He went to the truck bed, pulled out his spare work gloves, the big ones, scarred and stiff with age, handed them to her. She looked at them, then at his hands, then back at the gloves. What about you? I got another pair. He didn't, but she took them anyway. They were huge on her. The fingers extended past hers by 2 inches. She tried gripping the wire, but the gloves just slipped and bunched. These don't work. They're all I got. She looked toward the house, a mile away. She could barely see it through the heat shimmer. What about the ones by the door? Cole's face changed, went still. Those don't fit anyone. They'd fit me. They're not. He stopped, started again. Those belong to Sarah. I know. Then you know they're not for using. Maya studied him. The wall that just went up. The way his jaw set when she said his wife's name. Okay, she said quiet. Sorry, she worked without gloves. He didn't stop her. An hour later, Cole was digging a post hole, the Texas kind, where the ground fought back, and Maya was holding the new post steady, sweat running down both their faces, flies circling, the sun hammering everything flat. Maya's hands were raw, small cuts from the wire. She didn't complain. Take a break, Cole said. I'm good. You're bleeding. She looked at her palms, shrugged. I've had worse. The way she said it, flat, matter of fact, made Cole stop digging. Maya. What? Who hurt you? She went still. We doing this now? You don't gotta answer. Then why ask? Because someone burned you with cigarettes, someone broke your ribs, and someone left you on the side of a highway to die. His voice was level. No anger in it, just statement of fact. And I figure maybe knowing who helps me understand what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with anything. I'm dealing with it. You're just here. Yeah, I am. She looked at him, really looked, trying to figure out if that was a threat or a promise. After a long time, she spoke, voice low. Boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend now. Name's Ray Cordero, trucker. Lived in Tucson. I sang at a bar he liked. He seemed nice at first. She laughed. No humor. They always do, right? How long? 2 years? Good for 6 months. Bad for 18. And the highway. I fought back. First time. Only time. He was driving me to his brother's place in New Mexico. Said I needed to learn respect. I waited till we were on an empty stretch. Grabbed the wheel. We went off the road. I ran. She touched her ribs without thinking. He caught me. Beat the hell out of me. Threw me out. Drove off. Cole didn't say anything. Just listened. I thought maybe someone would stop. Help. But it was hours. Just me and the sun and... She stopped. Shook her head. Then you stopped. I'm glad I did. Yeah, well, she picked up the post again. Don't be too glad. He might come looking. Let him. She looked at him sharp. You don't know him. Don't need to. He's not... Cole, he's mean. Really mean. And he doesn't forget. Cole sank the post hole digger into the ground. Leveraged it up. Dirt and rocks. Neither do I. They finished the fence by mid-afternoon. 3 new posts, wire strung tight. It would hold now, maybe for years. On the drive back, Maya was quiet, staring out the window at nothing. Cole broke the silence. You ever try to leave? Before the highway. Twice. First time he found me in a motel in Phoenix, apologized, cried, said he'd change. She laughed bitter. I believed him. Second time I made it to California. 3 months clean. Then he showed up at my sister's place, said if I didn't come back, he'd hurt her. Pause. So I came back. Where's your sister now? Don't know. Haven't talked to her in a year. Safer that way. Cole nodded. Didn't push. Back into the house, Maya went straight to the bathroom. Washed her hands, the cuts stinging under the water. She could hear Cole in the kitchen, sounds of cooking. Dinner for two becoming routine. She looked at herself in the mirror. The bruises were fading. Yellow-green now, instead of purple. Her face looked different, less hollow, or maybe just less hunted. When she came out, Cole was setting 2 plates on the table. Real plates this time, not the counter. "Sit," he said. She sat. They ate. Chicken and rice. Simple. Good. Halfway through, Maya spoke. "Why'd you stop? On the road. Why'd you stop for me?" Cole set his fork down, stared at his plate. "Someone stopped for me once." "When?" Long silence. Then, 5 years ago, Sarah got sick. Cancer. Ovarian. By the time they found it, wasn't much they could do. His voice was flat, reciting facts. She had 6 months, made it to 8. Those last few weeks, she was in the hospital more than home. He stopped, started again. "I was 60 miles away, buying feed. She called. Said she didn't feel right. I said I'd be there in an hour." He looked at his hands. They were steady now, but the memory made them shake. 40 minutes later, the hospital called. She was gone. Maya's breath caught. "Cole." I drove home. Pulled over on County 181. Just stopped. Couldn't make myself keep going. Sat there for maybe 2 hours. Then this old man pulled up behind me, knocked on my window, asked if I was all right. I said, "Yeah, just thinking." He looked at me and said, "Son, you're not thinking. You're drowning." Cole's jaw worked. He sat with me. Didn't say much, just sat there till I could breathe again. Then he followed me home, made sure I got inside. Left a casserole on the porch the next day, never even told me his name. Maya's eyes were wet. She didn't blink, didn't want to let the tears fall. "So when I saw you," Cole looked up, met her eyes. "I couldn't drive past, not again." The silence was thick, full. Finally Maya spoke, voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not her. I know." "Then why are you really doing this?" Cole was quiet for a long time. When he answered, his voice carried something raw and true. "Maybe I'm the one needs help." The words hung there, simple, devastating. Maya looked down, blinked. The tears came anyway. That evening, the porch. Chairs closer now, 4 feet apart instead of 6. The sun was setting. Desert turning gold in shadow. Maya spoke first. "I should probably leave soon." "Where are you going to go?" "I don't know. Somewhere he won't find me." He finds you anywhere. You come back here." She looked at him. "Why would you risk that?" "Because it's the right thing." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I got." She studied his face, the lines around his eyes, the way he held himself, like a man who'd been carrying something heavy for so long he forgot how to put it down. "You're not saving me," she said quiet. "You know that, right?" "I know." Then what are we doing?" He looked at the darkening sky, stars starting to show. "I don't know. But I'm glad you're here." Something shifted in her chest. That crack in the wall got wider. She didn't say anything, just sat there as the night came on and the windmill turned. And somewhere far away, a coyote called to nothing. Inside the house, Sarah's gloves hung on their nail, untouched, waiting. Wade Hollis showed up on a Thursday, which meant he wasn't just passing through. Cole was replacing a rotted board on the porch when the white SUV pulled into the yard. County sheriff on the door, Wade Hollis behind the wheel. Cole set down his hammer. Didn't stand up. Wade got out slow, adjusted his belt, the way cops do when they want you to remember they're armed. He walked up to the porch, boots heavy on the steps. "Cole." "Wade." "Got a minute?" "Depends what for." Wade smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Just checking in. Heard you had someone staying out here." "Who told you that?" "Does it matter?" Cole stood up now, eye level. "Yeah, it does." Wade sighed, took off his sunglasses. "Look, I'm not here to cause trouble, but I got a call from someone in town saying they saw a woman at your place, dark hair, bruised up pretty bad. That true?" "Might be." "Might be" isn't an answer. It's the one you're getting. Wade's jaw tightened. "Cole, don't make this hard. I need to know who she is, where she came from. She needed help. I helped her. That's real noble. But what if she's wanted? What if she's running from the law?" "She's not." "How do you know?" "Because I asked." "And you believe her?" Cole's eyes went cold. "Yeah, I do." Wade looked past him at the house. The curtain in the front window moved slightly. "Someone watching." "I need to talk to her." "No." "Cole, I said no." Wade stepped closer, lowered his voice. "You know what this looks like? Woman shows up beat to hell, no ID, and you're hiding her out here. What if the guy who hurt her shows up looking? What if he's armed? What if—" "Let him come." Wade stared at him. "You're serious?" "As a heart attack." "Jesus, Cole." Wade put his sunglasses back on. "You're making a mistake. Harboring someone. refusing to cooperate with law enforcement. I'm not harboring anyone. She's a guest. Does she want to be here? Ask her yourself. You just said I can't talk to her. Change my mind. You can ask through the door. She says she wants to leave. I'll drive her wherever she wants. She says she wants to stay. You leave. Wade considered this, finally nodded. Fair enough. They walked to the front door. Wade knocked. Ma'am, this is Sheriff Hollis. I just need to ask you a few questions. Silence. Ma'am, I'm not here to cause trouble. I just want to make sure you're safe. More silence. Then from inside, Maya's voice, hard and flat, I'm fine. Are you here of your own free will? Long pause. Yeah. And you don't want to press charges against anyone? File a report? No. Wade looked at Cole. Cole's face was stone. All right then. Wade stepped back, addressed the door again. If you change your mind, sheriff's office is in town. We're there to help. No response. Wade walked back to his truck. Cole followed him. At the driver's door, Wade turned, kept his voice low. Cole, listen to me. I've known you 30 years. I know you're hurting. I know you've been alone out here since Sarah died. But this, he gestured at the house. This isn't the way. What way is that? Trying to save someone to make yourself feel better. The words hit like a slap. Cole's face went blank. Get off my property. Cole, now. Wade held up his hands. Fine, but I'll be back. And next time I might have more questions, legal ones. He got in the truck, pulled out, dust rising behind him like smoke. Cole stood in the yard until the engine sound disappeared, then he turned toward the house. Maya was standing in the doorway, face white, eyes red. How much did you hear? Enough. She went back inside. He followed. In the kitchen, she was already packing. One plastic grocery bag, the clothes he'd given her, the toothbrush from the bathroom, nothing else. What are you doing? Leaving. Why? She turned on him. Why? Did you not just hear that? He's coming back with legal questions. You could get in trouble. Real trouble. I don't care. Well, I do. She shoved a shirt into the bag. I'm not going to be the reason you lose this place. Or worse. Maya, no, I should have left days ago. I knew better. I always know better. But her voice cracked. I let myself believe this was safe. That you were... She stopped, shook her head hard. It doesn't matter. I'm leaving. She headed for the door. He stepped in front of it. Not blocking exactly. Just there. Move. No. Cole, I mean it. Move. But where are you going to go? Anywhere. With no money? No car? No ID? I'll figure it out. I always do. Yeah, and how'd that work out last time? Her face went hard. That's not fair. Neither is running. I'm not running. I'm protecting you. From what? From me. The words tore out of her. From Ray. From the sheriff. From whatever the hell I bring with me everywhere I go. I'm poison, Cole. Don't you get that? Everyone who tries to help me gets hurt. I'm not everyone. No, you're worse. Her eyes filled. You're good. You're actually good. And I won't. She reached past him for the door handle. He caught her wrist. Gentle. She froze. Let go. Maya. Let go. He did. Stepped back, hands up. She yanked the door open, stood there, breathing hard, not moving. Why do you care? Her voice was smaller now, broken. You don't even know me. I know enough. You know nothing. She spun around. You think you're saving me? You're not. You think this is about me? It's not. It's about her. She pointed at Sarah's gloves, still hanging on their nail, exactly where they'd been for 5 years. You brought me here because I remind you what you lost. Because if you can fix me, maybe it means you weren't too late for her. Maybe it means you're not... Stop. A failure. But I'm not her, Cole. I'm not your dead wife. And you can't fix what happened by fixing me. But... The silence after was deafening. Cole's face had gone completely blank, emptied out. Maya was shaking. Tears streaming down her face. She grabbed the gloves off the nail and threw them at him. They hit his chest, fell to the floor. Outside, the windmill screamed. Sharp and high, metal on metal. Cole bent down, picked up the gloves, one at a time, carefully, like they were made of glass. He walked past her, hung them back on the nail. Precise, deliberate. Then he walked out the back door. Didn't look at her, didn't say a word. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Maya stood there, holding her plastic bag. Tears on her face, the gloves on the nail, spinning slightly from being hung. The house was silent, except for the windmill outside, still screaming. She left before dawn, the way people do when they're too ashamed to say goodbye. Cole woke at 5:30, same as always. Muscle memory didn't care about heartbreak. He made coffee, reached for the second mug, stopped, stared at the cabinet, made one cup. The silence was different, thicker. He couldn't explain why. The house had been silent for 5 years. But this silence felt new, wrong. He walked to the hallway. Her door was open. The bed was made. Hospital corners. Tighter than he'd ever made a bed in his life. On top of the quilt, the clothes he'd given her, folded neat. Sarah's old shirt on top, washed and dried and folded like it mattered. And beside them, Sarah's gloves. Placed careful, deliberate, not thrown, not discarded, returned. Cole stood in the doorway for a long time. He couldn't move. Couldn't think past the ringing in his ears. She was gone. He checked the whole house anyway. Bathroom, kitchen, porch, the barn, nothing. Her plastic bag was gone. The toothbrush, that was it. Everything else she left behind, like evidence of a ghost who'd stopped believing in haunting. Cole went back to the kitchen. The coffee was getting cold. He poured it down the sink. Watched the brown water spiral away. Then he grabbed his keys. County Road 181 looked different at sunrise, golden instead of rust. But the heat was already building, going to be over 100 by noon. He drove slow, eyes scanning both shoulders. Nothing. Mile marker 127. Empty. He got out anyway. Stood where she'd sat 6 days ago. Blood on white dress, dust and sun, and the certainty that no one was coming. Now just gravel and creosote and the highway stretching forever in both directions. No footprints. Wind had erased them. He drove north. Stopped at every turnout, every crossroad, every place someone might wait for a ride. The morning stretched. The sun climbed. The truck's AC couldn't keep up with the heat. By 9 a.m., he'd covered 40 miles. Nothing. She could be anywhere or nowhere. Rena's diner sat on Main Street in Cochise Flats. 6 tables, a counter, flies buzzing against the windows. The breakfast rush, all 8 people, had cleared out by the time Cole walked in. Rena looked up from wiping down the counter, saw his face, set down her rag. Coffee? He nodded. Sat at the counter, stared at nothing. She poured, slid the cup over, waited. After a long time, he spoke. You seen her? The girl? Yeah. Rena studied him. Why would I have seen her? Because she left, and I don't know where else she'd go. When? Last night. Or this morning. He stopped. I don't know. Rena was quiet. Then, what happened? Sheriff came by, asked questions. She got scared, wanted to leave. We fought. The words came out flat, clinical. She said some things, true things, and I walked away. And this morning she was gone. What kind of true things? Cole looked at his coffee. Black. Bitter. He'd forgotten to add sugar. He drank it anyway. That I brought her home to fix myself. That she's not Sarah? That I can't save her to make up for... His voice cracked. He stopped. Started again. She's right. Rena leaned against the counter. Is she? Yeah. The whole thing, or just part of it? Cole didn't answer. Because it seems to me, Rena said careful, that you did bring her home to help yourself. But that doesn't mean you didn't also help her. Both things can be true. Doesn't matter now. She's gone. You checked the bus station? She doesn't have money for a ticket. So she's walking, or hitching, in this heat. Rena shook her head. That girl's too smart for that. Then where? The bell above the door chimed. They both turned. Not Maya. Wade Hollis. In uniform. He saw Cole. Stopped. Something shifted in his expression. Surprise, then calculation. Cole, didn't expect to see you here. Wade. Wade walked over, addressed Rena. Coffee, Rena. Thanks. Then to Cole, we need to talk. Not interested. Wasn't asking. Wade's voice had gone official. Cop voice. Got a call this morning. Man named Ray Cordero says his girlfriend went missing 6 days ago. Says she might be in this area, driving his truck. Cole went very still. Says she's dangerous, unstable. Assaulted him and stole his vehicle. Wade pulled out a small notepad. Description matches the woman at your place. Dark hair, 5'4", about 30, accent. She didn't assault anyone. How do you know? Because I know her. You've known her 6 days, Cole. He's known her 2 years. He filed a police report. Says he's worried about her, wants to help. Cole's hands curled into fists under the counter. He beat the hell out of her, burned her with cigarettes, broke her ribs, then left her on the side of the road to die. That's what he did. And Wade wrote something down. Did she tell you that? Yeah. And you believed her? Yeah. Over a police report? Over any goddamn thing he says? Wade looked at him for a long time, then closed the notepad. Cole, I'm trying to help you here. If you're hiding her, if she committed a crime, Even if she had a good reason, you're making yourself an accessory. That's serious. I'm not hiding anyone. She left. Wade's eyebrows went up. When? Last night. Where'd she go? Don't know. You let her leave? After I warned you someone might come looking? Cole didn't answer. Wade sighed. All right, if you see her, you call me. Immediately. Don't try to handle this yourself. This Ray guy, he's driving up from Tucson today, says he's got a right to look for his property. His property. His truck, which she allegedly stole. Cole stood up. She's not going back to him. Oh, that's not your decision. Watch me make it one. Wade stood too. They were the same height, same build. But Wade had a badge and a gun, and the law. Cole just had fury. Don't do something stupid, Wade said quiet. I know you're hurting. I know you loved Sarah. But you can't fix that by... Get out. Cole, get out. Rena cleared her throat. Gentlemen, this is a place of business. Take it outside or sit down and shut up. Wade looked at her, at Cole, then nodded. Fine. He dropped a 5 on the counter for coffee he hadn't touched. But I meant what I said. This Ray guy shows up at your place, you call me? Don't be a hero? He left. The bell chimed. Silence fell back over the diner like dust. Cole sat down. His hands were shaking again. He pressed them flat on the counter. Rena refilled his coffee. She's not at your place? No. And you don't know where she is? No. Rena was quiet for a moment. Then, Cole, look at me. He did. She came here last night around 10, said she needed to use the phone, made a call, wouldn't say to who, then asked if she could sleep in one of the booths. I said yes. Cole's heart stopped. Where is she now? Left this morning, 6 a.m., said she was catching a ride. With who? Didn't say. But Cole? Rena's voice got softer. She was crying, quiet-like, but crying. Said something about how she ruins everything she touches. That you were better off. Cole closed his eyes. What did you say to her? Rena asked. Nothing. That's the problem. She said I was using her to feel better about Sarah. And I didn't deny it. I just walked away. Were you? Using her? The question hung there, heavy and honest. After a long time, Cole answered, voice barely above a whisper. Maybe at first, I don't know. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being about Sarah and started being about... He stopped. It doesn't matter. She's gone, and now that son of a bitch is coming to find her. Then you better find her first. Cole drove home with the windows down, heat pouring in. Didn't matter. Nothing mattered. The ranch looked the same. Everything exactly where it had been this morning. Fence posts, corral, the windmill turning slow, but different. Emptier, he walked inside, stood in the kitchen. The second coffee cup was still in the cabinet. He opened it, stared at the cup, closed the cabinet, went to the guest room. The clothes were still there, folded, waiting. He picked up Sarah's blue work shirt, held it. It smelled like Maya's shampoo, the cheap kind from the bathroom. Not Sarah's lotion, not anymore. He sat on the bed, still holding the shirt. The house was silent, except for the windmill, creaking soft now, mournful, like it was grieving too. Evening came. Cole sat on the porch. The chair next to him was empty. He stared at the horizon, watched the sun bleed out across the desert. His hands weren't shaking anymore. They were perfectly still. Numb. The numbness was worse. That night, he couldn't sleep. Lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling. The house made its settling sounds. Creaks and pops. Familiar. Lonely. At 3 a.m. he got up, walked to the kitchen. Stood in front of Sarah's gloves. Reached out. Touched them. First time in 5 years. The leather was dry. Cracked. They'd been hanging there so long they'd forgotten what hands felt like. He took them down, held them. And for the first time since Sarah died, Cole Brennan broke. Not loud, not dramatic. Just shoulders shaking, breath catching, silent tears running down his face in the dark. He slid down to the floor, back against the cabinet, gloves in his hands. And the memories came. Sarah in the hospital, 3 days before she died. Tubes and machines and the smell of antiseptic trying to cover up death. Her voice weak but clear. Cole, yeah, baby, I'm here. I'm not scared of dying. His throat closed. Don't. Listen, I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of you being alone. I'll be fine. She looked at him. That look. The one that saw through every lie he'd ever told. Liar. He tried to smile. Failed. I'll manage. You'll survive. That's not the same thing. She reached for his hand. Hers was so thin. Promise me something. Anything. Don't let the grief turn you into a ghost. Don't disappear into this ranch and never come back out. I won't. Promise. I promise. She squeezed his hand. barely any strength left. I love you. And when you find someone else, because you will, I want you to let yourself love them, really love them. Not compare them to me, not use them to keep me alive. Just love them. Sarah, promise me, Cole. I promise. She smiled, small, tired, liar. Cole sat on the kitchen floor, 3 a.m., alone, holding his dead wife's gloves, understanding, finally, what he'd done. He hadn't brought Maya home to save her. He'd brought her home to prove Sarah wrong, to prove he wasn't a ghost, to prove he could still be human. But he'd broken his promise anyway. He hadn't loved Maya, not really. He'd used her as evidence that he was still capable of caring. And she'd known, the whole time, she'd known. I'm not her. You can't fix what happened by fixing me. She was right, and now she was gone. Out there somewhere, alone, with that son of a bitch driving up from Tucson to find her. Cole pressed his palms against his eyes. The tears wouldn't stop. I'm sorry, he whispered to the empty kitchen, to Sarah, to Maya, to himself. I'm so sorry. And the windmill outside creaked once, twice, then stopped. Even it had given up. At 6 a.m., headlights swept across the window. Cole was still on the floor. He hadn't moved. The gloves were in his lap. Car door, footsteps on the porch. Knock. He didn't get up. The door opened. Rena's voice. Cole? She found him in the kitchen, took one look and came over. Sat down on the floor next to him. Didn't say anything, just sat there. After a while. She's still at my place. Cole's head came up. What? She never left. She lied. Said she was leaving at 6, so I'd tell you she was gone. She's been hiding in my back room all day. Why? Because she thinks you're better off without her. Raina's voice was gentle but firm. And she's terrified that Ray's going to find her and hurt you trying to get to her. Cole stared at her. She's protecting me. Yeah. By leaving. By trying to. He looked at the gloves in his lap. I have to tell her the truth. What truth? That she was right. I did bring her home because of Sarah. But he stopped, swallowed hard. But somewhere along the way, she stopped being about Sarah and started being about Maya. And I was too stupid and scared to see it. Raina nodded. Then you better tell her that. I mean, what if she won't listen? She'll listen. But Cole, Raina's voice got serious. You need to figure out what you're really asking. Are you asking her to stay so you can feel less guilty? Or are you asking her to stay because you actually see her? The question hung there. Cole looked at the gloves, then at Raina. I see her. You sure? Yeah. For the first time in hours, his voice was steady. I'm sure. Raina stood up, offered her hand, pulled him to his feet. Then come on, but first, she pointed at the gloves. You need to decide what to do with those. Cole looked at them, Sarah's gloves, dry and cracked and ready to crumble, or ready to be used again. He made his choice. The ranch felt bigger without her, which didn't make sense, since she'd only been there a week. Raina sent him home, said Maya needed time, said he needed time, said they'd talk tomorrow when everybody wasn't running on grief and panic and no sleep. Cole didn't argue. He got in his truck and drove the 15 miles back to the ranch. The sun was coming up, desert turning gold. Beautiful. He didn't care. At home, he stood in the kitchen. The gloves were on the counter where he'd left them. He picked them up, put them in his jacket pocket, then he walked through the house. Guest room, empty. Her smell still there, shampoo and something else. Something that was just Maya. Bathroom, her toothbrush gone. The towel she'd used folded on the rack. Kitchen, 2 cups in the cabinet. He opened it, stared, closed it again. Living room, the couch where he'd slept for 5 years. The bedroom door down the hall, still closed. Still waiting. He opened it. The bed was made. Military corners. Sarah had always been particular about that. The dresser had her things. Jewelry box, hairbrush. The novel she'd been reading when she went into the hospital for the last time. Bookmark, still in place. Page 247. He'd kept it all exactly as it was. 5 years. Like a museum. Like if he preserved it perfectly enough, she might come back and finish that book. Cole sat on the edge of the bed. The mattress sank under his weight. It felt wrong. He hadn't sat here since the funeral. I broke my promise, he said to the empty room. I'm sorry. The house didn't answer. It never did. He lay back, stared at the ceiling. The same ceiling Sarah had stared at during those last months when the cancer was winning and she couldn't make it to the hospital anymore. The same ceiling she'd stared at when she said, don't let the grief turn you into a ghost. Too late for that. Or maybe not. Maybe ghosts could come back. If they tried hard enough. If they had a reason. At noon, he got back in the truck. Didn't think about where he was going. Just drove. Ended up at mile marker 127. He pulled over. Same spot he'd stopped a week ago. Got out. Stood where Maya had sat. Mile marker behind him. Highway in front. Nothing else. Just creosote and sky and heat. He understood it now. Why she'd chosen this spot. Why she'd sat here waiting for whatever came next. It was the end of the world. The place where decisions got made for you because you'd run out of road. Cole sat down, back against the marker. Same position. Desert stretching forever in front of him. The sun was brutal. No shade, no relief, just exposure. He sat there for an hour, maybe 2. Cars passed, 3 of them, and nobody stopped. That's how you knew you were really alone. When people looked at you and kept driving, had Maya felt that? Sitting here, watching trucks go by, believing nobody cared enough to stop. And then he had. But not because he saw her, because he saw Sarah, because he saw his own guilt, because he couldn't drive past again. Again, always about the past, never about the present. Maya had been right. She'd been so right, it hurt. A truck approached from the south, old Chevy, dented. Slowed down as it got close. The driver, a man in his 50s, weathered face, leaned out. "You all right?" Cole looked up, shaded his eyes against the sun. "Yeah." You sure? Hot day to be sitting in the dirt?" "I'm fine, thanks." The man studied him. "You need a ride somewhere?" "No, just thinking." The man nodded like that made sense. "All right then, you take care." He drove off. Cole watched him go, taillights getting smaller, disappearing. That man had stopped. For a stranger. For no reason except that someone looked like they might need help. No guilt, no ghosts, just simple human decency. Cole stood up, brushed the dust off his jeans. He understood now, the difference. When he'd stopped for Maya, it had been about him, about what he needed to prove, about what he'd lost. But if he went back now, if he went to Raina's and asked Maya to come home, it couldn't be about him anymore. It had to be about her, about seeing her, about choosing her future instead of his past. Could he do that? He looked at the highway, north and south, infinite in both directions. Yeah, he could. At the ranch, he went to the bedroom, opened Sarah's jewelry box. Inside, her wedding ring, the necklace he'd given her on their 10th anniversary, the earrings she'd worn to their wedding, and underneath, in an envelope, a letter, Sarah's handwriting, his name on the front. He'd found it a month after she died, tucked in her nightstand. He'd read it once, put it back, never opened it again. Now he did. "Cole, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And knowing you've been punishing yourself for it ever since. Stop. You weren't supposed to save me. Nobody could. The cancer did what cancer does. That's not on you. What is on you, what I'm holding you to, is the promise you made. Don't become a ghost. Don't disappear into that ranch. I know you. You'll want to keep everything exactly like it was. My clothes, my books, my coffee cup. Don't. Give it away. Donate it. Burn it if you have to. But don't turn our life into a museum. And when you meet someone, because you will, even if you don't believe it right now, don't compare her to me. Don't use her to keep me alive. Just love her for who she is, not who I was. That's all I want. For you to live, really live, not just survive. I loved you with everything I had. Now go find someone else who will do the same. All my love, Sarah." Cole read it 3 times, then folded it carefully, put it back in the envelope. "Okay," he said to the empty room. "Okay." He went to the closet, started pulling out Sarah's clothes. Shirts and jeans and dresses, piled them on the bed, then her shoes, her jackets, everything. It took an hour. By the end, the bed was covered, a mountain of fabric and memory. He stood looking at it. This was 5 years of grief, 5 years of holding on. Time to let go. He'd take it to the church tomorrow. They had a donation box. Someone else could use it. Someone else could make new memories with it. But not tonight. Tonight, he just needed to know he could. He went back to the kitchen, took Sarah's gloves out of his pocket, looked at them. They were dry, cracked, ready to crumble, or ready to be worn again. He made his choice. That night, he slept in the bedroom for the first time in 5 years. The sheets still smelled like dust and loneliness, but not like Sarah's lotion, not anymore. That smell was gone, finally gone. He lay there in the dark, hands behind his head, staring at nothing. Tomorrow he'd go to Raina's. He'd tell Maya the truth, all of it. That he'd brought her home for the wrong reasons. That he'd been using her to feel less alone. That he'd broken his promise to Sarah and to her, and then he'd give her a choice. Real choice. No pressure, no guilt, stay or go, her decision, whatever she needed, even if she chose to leave, even if that destroyed him. Because that's what it meant to actually see someone, to let them be free, even if it meant being alone again. The windmill outside had started turning again, slow, steady. The creek was soft now, almost peaceful. Cole closed his eyes. For the first time in 5 years, he slept through the night. When Wade's truck pulled up with Maya in the passenger seat, Cole knew someone had finally called him in. Cole was on the porch at 7 a.m. when the white SUV turned into the yard. He'd been waiting since dawn. Sarah's gloves in his jacket pocket, coffee going cold in his hand. Wade parked, got out, walked around to the passenger side, opened the door. Maya climbed out. She wouldn't look at Cole. Kept her eyes on the ground. Wade's face was grim, official. Cole, we need to talk. What's going on? Got a situation. Wade glanced at Maya. Ray Cordero showed up in town this morning. 6 a.m. Went straight to the station, filed a formal complaint. Says Maya here assaulted him, stole his truck, and ran. He's got medical records, photos, a police report from Tucson. Cole's jaw went tight. That's bullshit. Maybe, but he's got paperwork. She doesn't. Wade pulled out his notepad. He says he wants his truck back and he wants to press charges. Says he's willing to drop it if she comes back with him. Work it out. Maya's whole body went rigid, her hands curled into fists. She's not going anywhere with him, Cole said. That's not your call. Well, like hell it isn't. Wade held up a hand. Cole, listen, I know what you think happened, but legally, I need her statement. I need to know if she wants to press counter charges. Restraining order. Something. He looked at Maya. But she won't talk to me. Won't even tell me where she's been. Because you'll tell him, Maya said, voice flat, dead. I can't withhold information in an active investigation. Then there's your answer. She looked at Wade, eyes hard. I'm not pressing charges. I'm not filing a report. I'm not going back. And if you try to make me, I'll run, again, and you won't find me next time. Wade sighed, ran a hand over his face. Ma'am, I'm trying to help. No, you're not. You're trying to follow the law. That's not the same thing. Silence. Wade looked at Cole. Cole looked back, stone-faced. Finally, Wade spoke. I need her to come to the station, answer some questions. On the record, Ray's got a right. He's got no rights, Cole said, voice low and dangerous. Not to her, not anymore. Cole, you're making this worse. If you obstruct, then arrest me. But she's not going with him. Not today, not ever. Wade stared at him. You willing to go to jail over this? Yeah. Duh. Maya's head snapped up, looked at Cole for the first time. Her eyes were wet. Wade was quiet for a long moment. Then he closed the notepad. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'm taking her to the station. She's going to give a statement, and you, he pointed at Cole, are going to stay here. No heroics, no showing up. Let the system work. The system doesn't work for people like her. Maybe, but it's all we've got. Wade looked at Maya. Ma'am, I can't make you press charges, but I can't protect you if you don't help me. You understand? She nodded. Good, let's go. Maya started toward the truck, stopped, turned to Cole. Don't follow me. Maya, I mean it. Stay here. Stay safe. Her voice cracked. Please. She got in the truck before he could respond. Wade paused at the driver's door, lowered his voice. That boyfriend? He's at the motel, room 12. And Cole, he asked about you, about where you live, what you drive. Wade's eyes were serious. Lock your doors, keep your phone close, and if he shows up here, you call me first, not after. Understood? What if I don't? Then you'll end up in jail or dead, and she'll end up back with him. That what you want? Cole didn't answer. Wade got in, started the engine, backed out. Maya's face was visible through the window, pale, scared, looking back at the ranch like she was memorizing it. Then they were gone. Cole stood in the yard, alone again, Sarah's gloves still in his pocket. The windmill turned, slow, steady. Indifferent to everything, he went inside, sat at the kitchen table, stared at nothing. His phone rang. Raina. You saw? Yeah. He came to the diner first, looking for her. I told him I didn't know where she was. He didn't believe me. Stood there for 10 minutes asking questions. Smiling, all polite. But Cole, her voice dropped. His eyes. There's nothing behind them. Just empty. Empty. Where is he now? Motel. Wade told you? Yeah. Don't do anything stupid. Define stupid. You know what I mean. Don't go near him. Don't engage. Let Wade handle it. Cole didn't respond. Cole, I hear you. But you're not listening. I said I hear you. She sighed. Fine. But when you do something stupid, because I know you will. At least have a plan. She hung up. Cole sat there. The gloves were on the table now. He'd taken them out of his pocket without thinking. They looked small, fragile, like they'd fall apart if you used them, or maybe they'd hold. Maybe they'd been waiting all this time for someone who needed them. He heard it before he saw it. An engine, different from Wade's, rougher, older. Cole went to the window. A truck pulled into the yard. Blue Chevy, Tucson plates, dented front end. The driver got out. Ray Cordero was shorter than Cole expected. 5'9", stocky, wearing a too-tight t-shirt and jeans, dark hair slicked back, tattoos on both arms. He had a smile on his face. Casual, friendly. The smile didn't reach his eyes. Cole opened the door. Stepped onto the porch, Ray stopped 20 feet away, hands in his pockets, still smiling. You must be Cole. Get off my property. Ray's smile widened. Now that's not very neighborly. I just came by to talk. Nothing to talk about. I think there is. Ray took a step closer, casual, relaxed, like they were old friends. See, my girlfriend took something that belongs to me, and I heard she might have been staying here. Thought maybe you could help me out. She's not your girlfriend. Well, that's between me and her, isn't it? Ray's voice stayed light, easy. Look, I don't want trouble. I just want what's mine, my truck, maybe an apology, then I'll be on my way. She doesn't owe you anything. Ray's smile faded slightly. You don't know what she owes me. You don't know her. I know enough. Yeah? She tell you about the money I lent her, the rent I paid, 2 years of taking care of her while she sang in bars and drank away her tips? Ray shook his head. No, I bet she didn't tell you that part. Cole didn't move. I know what you did to her. What I did? Ray laughed, no humor. Brother, I kept her alive. Fed her, clothed her. She'd be dead in a gutter if it wasn't for me. That why you burned her with cigarettes? The mask slipped. Just for a second, Ray's eyes went flat, cold. Then the smile came back. I don't know what she told you, but get off my land. Or what? Ray spread his hands. You gonna call the cops? They're already on my side. I got paperwork. Photos. A police report. What's she got? Some rancher she's been shacking up with for a week? Cole's hands curled into fists. Ray saw it, smiled wider. Yeah, that's what I thought. You're just another guy thinks he can save her. But here's the thing. He took another step. She doesn't want to be saved. She wants someone to tell her what to do. Someone to take care of her. That's why she came back to me twice before, and that's why she'll come back again. No, she won't. We'll see. Ray turned to leave, stopped, looked back. Tell you what, you give me my truck keys, we call this even. I'll drop the charges, won't even ask where she is. I don't have your keys. But you know where she is? No. Ray studied him, then nodded slowly. All right, we'll do it the hard way then. Sheriff can sort it out. And when she has to come back to me because she's got no other choice, and trust me, she will, I'll make sure she knows who to thank. He got back in his truck, started the engine, pulled out. Cole watched him go. Didn't move until the dust settled. Then he went inside, grabbed his keys, the gloves, got in his truck and drove toward town. The sheriff's station was a small brick building on Main Street, 2 parking spots, both empty except for Wade's SUV. Cole parked, went inside. Wade was at his desk, looked up. Cole, what are you doing here? Where is she? Interview room, and you can't. Cole walked past him. Cole! He opened the interview room door. Maya was sitting at a table, alone. She looked up, eyes red from crying. Cole. He set the gloves on the table, pushed them toward her. She stared at them, then at him. What are you? They're yours. Cole, no, those are hers, yeah, and now they're yours. He sat down across from her. Maya, listen to me. I brought you home for the wrong reasons. I was using you to feel less guilty about Sarah. To prove I wasn't a ghost. That's the truth. And I'm sorry. Her face crumpled. I know. That's why I left. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being about her and started being about you. About seeing you. Really seeing you. His voice was steady now, clear. And I should have told you that. Before Wade showed up, before you left, but I'm telling you now. She was crying. Ray's got nothing. No power over you. Not unless you give it to him. But the charges, Wade's going to help. I'll get you a lawyer if we need one. But Maya, he reached across the table, stopped just short of her hand. You don't have to go back. Not to him, not to anyone. You get to choose. What if I choose wrong? Then we figure it out, together. She looked at the gloves, touched them, light, careful. These meant everything to you. Yeah, they did. Cole's voice was soft. And now I'm giving them to you, not because you're her, but because they've been through hell, and they're still good. Like you, Maya picked them up, held them, started crying harder. Cole stood up. Wade's going to take your statement. Tell him tell him everything, all of it. And when you're done, if you want, there's coffee at the ranch. 2 cups. He walked to the door. Cole, and he stopped. Thank you. He nodded, left. Outside, Wade was waiting. I know, but she needed to hear it. Wade sighed. Ray came to your place, didn't he? Yeah. And I told him to leave. He left. That's it? That's it. Wade didn't believe him, but he nodded. All right, give me an hour with her, then I'll bring her back to the ranch. If that's what she wants. And Ray? I'll handle Ray. Cole got in his truck, drove home. The day was clear, hot, desert stretched forever in every direction. At the ranch, he made coffee, 2 cups, and waited. October came early that year, or maybe it just felt that way, like the world had decided to let them breathe. Maya came back 3 hours later. Wade dropped her off, didn't stay. She stood in the yard for a long time, looking at the house, the porch, the windmill turning slow against the sky. Cole was sitting on the porch. 2 coffee cups on the railing, both empty now, cold. She walked up the steps, sat in the chair next to his, not 6 feet away, not 4, right next to him. They didn't speak, just sat there while the sun moved and the shadows changed. And somewhere far away, a coyote tested the evening. After a while, she held up her hands. She was wearing the gloves. They fit now, or maybe she'd just grown into them. "Thank you," she said. "You're welcome." That was all. That was enough. 2 weeks passed. Ray left town after Wade had a conversation with him, the kind of conversation that involved looking at county records and finding 3 outstanding warrants in New Mexico and suggesting that maybe Tucson was a better place to be. Ray left, didn't look back. Maya stayed. Not because she had nowhere else to go. Wade had given her phone numbers, shelters, resources, a victim's advocate in Phoenix. She stayed because she wanted to. The routine found them again, but different this time. 5:30 a.m. Coffee. 2 cups, no hesitation, no ghosts, 6:00 a.m. Porch, chairs close together, sometimes talking, sometimes not. Both good. Mornings, work, him on fence line, her in the small garden she'd started. Tomatoes and peppers and herbs, she said, reminded her of her grandmother. Evenings, dinner at the table, real conversations now. About everything, about nothing. She sang sometimes. In the kitchen while washing dishes. Soft. Just for herself. He'd stop whatever he was doing and listen without letting her know he was listening. She'd started wearing Sarah's clothes without asking. The blue work shirt, the jeans, the gloves when she worked outside. Cole had donated the rest to the church. Kept a few things, a scarf, a photo, the book with the bookmarks still at page 247. But the bedroom wasn't a museum anymore. It was just a room, with space for someone new. One evening in late October, they sat on the porch. The air was cool for the first time in months. Desert fall, that brief window between fire and ice when everything felt possible. Maya was wearing the gloves. They were worn now, broken in, stained with dirt and work and living. "You know what's funny?" she said. "What?" "Your hands." She looked at them, resting on his knees, steady, still. "They're not shaking anymore." Cole looked down, realized she was right. He couldn't remember when they'd stopped. Somewhere between finding her gone and getting her back. Somewhere between holding on and letting go. "Guess they figured out what they're for." She smiled, small, real. The kind of smile that came from somewhere deep and true. Inside the house, 2 coffee cups sat in the drying rack. The second cup wasn't collecting dust anymore. It was being used, being needed. In the guest room, her room now, officially, clothes hung in the closet, a book on the nightstand. Photos she'd asked Raina to print from a disposable camera she'd bought in town. Small things. Evidence of a life being built instead of survived. The windmill turned smooth now. Cole had oiled it. No more screaming, no more crying metal. Just the soft sound of something still working. Still turning, still there. Maya leaned back in her chair, looked at the stars coming out. Thousands of them. More than anyone could count. "I think I'll stay," she said quiet. "If that's still okay." "It's okay." "For how long?" Cole looked at her. Really looked. Not at Sarah, not at his guilt. Just at Maya. Dark eyes and worn gloves and a smile that was learning how to mean it. "Long as you want." She nodded. Looked back at the stars. Far off, at mile marker 127, the highway was empty. No one sitting in the dust. No one waiting for help that might never come. The desert was quiet. The night was cool. And on a small ranch, 15 miles from anywhere, 2 people sat together in comfortable silence, not saving each other, not using each other, just being there, just holding on. Sometimes the hands that shake are the only hands strong enough not to let go.